We feel that we reached our target audience with our final production. Audience appeal was always going to be one of the most important things that we had to focus on, and we created Jamie through looking at our own friends and our own relationships with our friends to make sure that he was really realistic. And the feedback that we got on that was that he was a very likable character, even though he was sort of a bit of like a wrong, and he was still likable. He'd still be your mate. And he appealed to the target audience through uses and gratifications theory, social relationships, because people could see their own relationships within the relationships that Jamie had with his friends. And if they didn't have any relationships like that, then they could relate to seeing that, like as if to want it. Yeah.
Yeah, the main themes we decided to put in there were things as like drug abuse and partying, like living freely kind of thing, which is portrayed through Jamie. Um, Basically, it's relevant to our audience who would be of a maturing age group, anything from 16 to 24-year-old, mostly male, obviously. It appeals through two ways. It would be the older people looking back on their lives retrospectively, kind of memorising the old things that they might have used to do, or it could be through the youth actually trying to learn more about that kind of scene and see what it's like without actively getting involved in it.
Yeah, like we got a lot of feedback on Facebook when I put the video up from people just in like their very early 20s that had sort of just started to get a job and settling down, and they said that they could really relate to seeing that, and they sort of reminisced and shared it around their group of friends, saying like, I remember like the days were like this.
Yeah. I mean, one bit of feedback that we did receive was on the theme of partying, which appealed to our target audience. Our respondent from the audience feedback said that they enjoyed the excitement of the rave scenes. Obviously, this connoted the kind of wild lifestyle that Jamie lived and the kind of carefree attitude that he had towards life, as if he's almost kind of rebelling against your stereotypical 9 to 5 lifestyle. Another bit of the audience feedback that the respondent gave us actually said, I can relate to Jamie in Schoolwell, which is actually from Jamal, surprisingly. Basically, his rebellious words are kind of connoting again that really wild lifestyle, where he's almost quite self-centered. He doesn't actually care about anyone else. I mean, his main focus would be him having a good time.
Yeah.
And having a good time at a party specifically.
And that's like the authority theme as well.
Yeah.
Where it's going against the natural order of things, and again like the 9 to 5 lifestyle worker. We were told, putting themes aside and ideologies and that, we were told that our editing was really tight, really together, and in time with the music, and it had a really nice flow to it. Like a lot of the feedback we said that from other pieces of work they saw, that everything was sort of like, why is that there? Why has that happened? It doesn't really go together, but ours flowed really well. One of the main things about that was the music that we chose, which was a copyright-free track that I got from one of my friends called Reese Alexandra, who gave us full rights to use it, because it's a really catchy beat and it's got a good pace to it, and that's what we wanted to get through, connote that sort of fast lifestyle that flows through.
It kind of contrasted with when it come to the rave scene as well, when the editing kind of lost its kind of pace and track. It wasn't really in time with anything. It's connoting the drug use and intoxication, if you like. Yeah. To areas of improvement that we got from the...
Not yet.
No, is it not there?
Not yet.
Okay.
The voiceover was another thing that we got a lot of positive feedback through, because they thought it was really well thought out and it explained the culture well, and everyone got a really realistic feel of the culture without actually actively being in it. And the titles received good feedback because they were creative and not boring. They weren't just a black screen that popped up. And
yeah. So improvements. What could be improved? What do we think? I mean, from the audience full feedback, there were two main things. The first one was the title and its typography, which we thought, to be fair, wasn't actually the best, but due to deadlines that we had to meet, we had to kind of just go with something and make decisions, stop being indecisive for once in our lives. I think we liked the way that it came in, but I think the typography just wasn't quite there, and the colour of it, the white and the black, I don't think it quite connoted specifically enough what we were trying to show.
So that was just a learning sort of curve, because if we had more time, we would have used like live type, and we went through all the fonts, but we just had to
and done some cool stuff.
Yeah.
The next one was where the opening scene between Jamie and the teacher. Some people didn't actually know what that was about. I mean, we did try and make it as specific as possible. I mean, he was in his school uniform and he's having a conversation which we thought was clearly about his lifestyle, but I think maybe next time we would include some dialogue that might make it more specific as to why he's wasting his life away and what it is, such as doing the drugs that the teacher might actually have to recommend next time.
But then I quite liked that it wasn't sort of there was an enigma to it. That you didn't really know what was happening. I think then it was explained through the voiceover.
Yeah, and then it kind of where it pulls it.
And I think if we were to make the rest of the film, then it would be a lot more clearer.
Yeah, as I say, it's just the first 2 minutes. You're not meant to give everything away.
Exactly.
In the first 2 minutes.
It's gone off. Hello. Yeah. That's...
what would we do better next time?
We just work on what we got.
Well, the 2 improvements. I think we'd have to go better on
the typography, the opening sequence.
I think it would be down to having a bit more time, a bit extra time instead of having deadlines, and we'd be able to put a lot more effort into things like the typography, to give it a better connotation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
sweet.
Thank you.